This week's Torah portion is about, what is it called, Avramo? Right. Hashem asks us to put judges and policemen in all of our cities, in all of our gates. And the Torah's instruction on the surface is about Hashem wants it to be law and order. But as we'll see, there's something very unique about this mitzvah, which is actually unique to our people. The Medrash brings a fascinating statement of Reb Levi to explain this verse. Reb Levi says, let me give you a parable. Give you a parable of a king who had many sons. He had many sons, but he loved his youngest son more than everyone else. He also had a garden that he loved more than all the things that he owned. So he decided, I'm going to give the thing I love the most to the one I love the most. I'm going to give my garden, what I love most, to my child, my youngest child, the smallest child, the one I love the most. So too Hashem says, of all the nations of the world, I love the Jewish people. As it says in the Torah, the Jewish people are a child and I love him. Nar Yisrael, the Jewish people are like a child, but when I love him. And of all the things I created, Hashem says, what do I love the most of all the things I created? I love the judgment. I love din. Love halachim. As it says in the Torah, Ani Hashem oyev mishpat. I am Hashem who loves justice. I'll give the thing I love the most to the one I love the most. That's what the Medrash says. But the question is this. It makes sense that you give the thing you love the most to the one you love the most. It makes sense. We don't need a parable to explain this. It's obvious. You give the thing you love the most to the one you love the most. Why does the Medrash find it necessary to give a parable to explain this concept? Question number 2 is, Hashem says he loves justice more than anything else. Justice is a necessary thing. But why does Hashem say he loves it so much? What does that mean? It says in the beginning of Choshen Mishpat, in the beginning of the laws of the Code of Jewish Law about damages and civility. Is that a word, civility? I don't know, but acting civil. So that's necessary for humans to function. But the language of he loves it more than anything else. What does it mean he loves it more than anything else? What does that mean? And also, the Talmud says, the Medrash says, Hashem gives the thing he loves the most, like a king who loves his youngest child. There are many verses that talk about Hashem's love for the Jewish people. It says in a verse, I am Hashem, ahavti eschem, I love you. There are many other verses like that. This verse talks about our unique nature of being like a child. So what's pertinent over here is not just that we are beloved by Hashem, but the reason we're beloved is because we're like a child. The question is, why is it that our childlike preciousness is what warrants us to be gifted the judgment of Hashem? Why is it that because we are like a child, therefore Hashem gives us the laws of the Torah, the laws of judgment? Why is that necessary? What if Hashem loved us for other reasons? Would he not give us this mitzvah? What does that mean? That because we're like a child specifically, that's why Hashem gives us this mitzvah. What's going on here? The answer is this. The answer is, this is a question that the Medrash is trying to address. The question is, it's not really true that only the Jewish people are given the laws of justice. Everyone, all nations of the world are commanded to have courts. They have to have courts to administer the 6 laws that are given to the children of Noah. So it's not just something which is Jewish, it's something which is given to all people. And although it says in the Torah, that they do not know his laws, but the Medrash explains the different, in general, they have an obligation to have courts and to give laws. But there are unique diktukim mishpat are the unique details of halacha that only apply to Jewish people. That's true. The Jewish people have a unique obligation to have certain laws different to nations of the world. There are certain details that are different. Fine. But the concept of justice in general does apply to nations of the world. So this whole expression of this verse is talking about having judges, having policemen. That applies to everyone. So why is it that the Medrash says that I love the Jewish people, I'm giving this to them only? It's not something which is unique to us. Everyone has to have judges. As the Rambam writes in Halacha, that non-Jews have to have judges as well. So the whole phrase of the Torah that I'm giving is special to Jewish people, and as the Medrash says, what I love most, I give to the ones I love most, doesn't seem to be accurate. There are details that we have, true, but the concept of that this verse is talking about, appointing judges, that seems to be something that is not unique to Jewish people. That's something that everyone has. Another question is, it seems that being a child is actually the opposite of what justice is about. In order to be a judge, you have to be very knowledgeable. As the Rambam writes, you only appoint someone to be a judge if they're very knowledgeable, that they know the whole Torah. So how is that relevant to a child? Because Jewish people, like a child, therefore give them these laws. What's going on over here? So this is the purpose of the parable of the Medrash. The Medrash, there's a parable of a garden. What's the point of the parable of a garden? On the surface, a garden is a place of enjoyment, a place that people enjoy. The king liked his garden the most. So therefore, he gave the thing he loved most, the garden, to the one he loved most, to his young child. But the Torah says that a garden or fruits are unique in the purpose of why Hashem gave them to mankind. The bracha we say for after eating fruits is burning nefashos. The Torah says in that bracha, we talk about two different things. We talk about lahachiyas b'hem. Hashem gave us things to sustain us to live. But then there are things which are beyond what we need to live. Hashem created a chesreinon. Hashem gave us our things that we're missing, and He should give us the things that sustain us. We need to have bread and water to survive. But then there are things that Hashem gave us just for pleasure, just to enjoy the world. The fruits are for enjoyment. So in a similar way, when the Medrash says that Hashem gave the Jewish people justice, Hashem is not talking about justice that's needed for survival. That indeed Hashem gave to all nations of the world. When it says that Hashem gave the Jewish people justice, it's referring to something unique that Hashem gave only to the Jewish people. What is the unique thing He gave to us? On the surface, there's judges and there are policemen. Who are the main characters here? Who are the most important people? The judges or the policemen? What do you think? On the surface, a judge can't do anything without the policeman. A judge is the means to an end to have a policeman. The policeman is one who actually makes it happen. The judge just tells us the idea, and the policeman makes it happen. The goal is the action. The goal is that the law should be fulfilled. When Reuben has a dispute with Shimon about a talus, who should get it? The policemen, the ones who make it happen. So on the surface, the policemen are the main people. However, Maimonides, when he talks about the role of the Jewish court, the Rambam clearly says that the role of the Jewish court is not merely a means to an end to get the law decided, but the purpose of the Jewish court is deeper. The Rambam says these words: the Jewish court, the Sanhedrin, the Ikar Shvalpeh, they are the main part of the oral Torah. They are the main component of the oral Torah. They are Amudei Hayirah, they are the pillars of instruction to the Jewish people. And then he says a third phrase, Mehem Yoytze Chokem Mishpat. From them, law and order goes out. So he clearly is pointing out that the role of the sages is not merely to instruct the Jewish people what to do, but they are the major component of the oral Torah. In the language of the Maharal says that the sages are the essence of Torah, says the Maharal. The sages are the essence of Torah. To them, the Torah was given. What, to the extent the Torah says in chapter 11 of Dvarim, Lo Yisosur, you cannot turn away from their words, right or left. Or as Rashi says, even if they tell you, hey, Naphtali, your left hand is your right hand, your right hand is your left hand, you can't turn away from their words. You have to listen to them. The nations of the world, Hashem said they have to appoint judges, but they weren't given the ability to invent new insights into Torah. They were given a clear wisdom from Hashem, and they are supposed to. The judges are the ones who have more time. They're on their hands to be able to. They're wise. They're able to delve deeply into the laws, understand how to apply the laws. The nations of the world, for them, the purpose of having judges is to get to justice. That justice should be administered. Then by the nations of the world, the judges have no intrinsic value. They're just a means to an end to get to justice. That's their purpose. They have no ability to invent new laws. They only have the ability to transmit what the law is. They are able to uniquely understand the law, fine, but they're not able to invent new laws. I'll never forget this imam who always helped me out when I went to visit these Jews in prison. And he always would find ways to bend the laws in the prison. I said to him, Abdul, you're not really following the laws. He's like, I understand the laws. That's what he said. I understand the laws. But regarding Hashem's laws, a Gentile has no ability to invent new insights in the laws of the Torah. He's only able to transmit exactly what the law of the Torah is. But the Jewish people, they are given the ability to invent. And when I say invent, I don't mean to make completely new laws, but according to the rules of the Torah, according to principles of Torah, they have the ability to give new insight in Torah. And this is the meaning of the Medrash. The Medrash says that Hashem gave the Jewish people the thing he loves most. What did he give them? He gave them the Torah. He gave the Torah to them to have ownership of Torah. They can invent new insights in Torah. Why did he give them to them? Says in Medrash, because they're like a child. What does that mean? Why like a child? It seems, or to have insight into the law, you have to be smart. That's true. It's also true that you also have humility. Without humility, you can't understand the Torah. That's true too. As it says in the Talmud, you cannot find the Torah across the sea. Says the Talmud that what that means is the people who people who feel that they have ownership, they're so great and they understand it all, they're not going to understand the Torah. However, although it's true, and let's say more, in our prayers we say, let my soul be like dust before all. And then we say, let my heart be open to your Torah. Our first request is, my soul should be like dust before all. Our second request is, let my heart be open to the Torah. In order to be able to open my heart to the Torah, I need to first have my soul like dust. I have to have humility. Without humility, I can't understand the Torah. Like the Talmud says a story about Beisham Beis Hillel. Beisham Beis Hillel would always argue, and the sages knew that the smarter one was the school of Shammai. They were smarter, clearly. And yet, the majority of students followed Beis Hillel. The majority was with Beis Hillel, and the Torah says follow the majority. But they were perplexed. Should we go after the majority when they are clearly not as smart as the majority? What should we do here? And a voice came out from heaven, and the voice said, the law follows Beis Hillel because they have humility. So what it tells us is to get to the truth of Torah, you have to have humility. Not wisdom doesn't get you as far as humility does. Beis Hillel wasn't as smart as Beis Shammai, but who got to the depth of the Torah and the halacha was specifically Beis Hillel. That's why the Talmud, whenever you have an argument between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel, Beis Shammai is listed first. Why are they listed first? Because Beis Hillel has this humility, and they say, let's put their words first. They honor them, put them first. So it's true, humility is a major component. However, when you need to give a halachic ruling, you have to be smart. As Maimonides says, who's appointed to be part of a Jewish court? Someone who's muflagim, who's amazing wisdom. So why is it necessary here the fact that we're Hashem's children or small children, why is the word small child relevant to the concept of justice? The answer is this. Why does a person love a child? Why does a father love a child? Yeah. 8 o'clock. Father loves a child because of for many reasons. The deepest love a father has for a child is because they're his child. The fact that a child is smart, the fact that a child acts with good character, the fact that a child gives you nachas, of course, increases your love for the child. But that doesn't come close to the love of your essence, the essence of the child. If the child didn't act nice, all he was is a little baby. A little baby does not do anything special, does not display great wisdom. What does baby do? A baby goes to the bathroom and sleeps and cries, right? That's what they do. And so what do you see in a baby? The love of the essence of the father, the essence of the child. If the child was more developed, then you would see other facets that would obscure the essential bond of father and child. But because the child is so small, it's more exposed, the core bond of father and child. The core bond is it's more pronounced. And so too, Hashem is telling us, I gave the Torah to the Jewish people. It's not because of the Jewish people are Am Chacham and Avon. We are called a wise, understanding nation. We're brilliant. However, Hashem says the reason I gave them the Torah was not because they're brilliant, rather it's because they're my child, because of the essential bond they have. Now, this gives us great insight. After we explain the Medrash, this gives us great insight into our lives and something we can learn from this. Well, Hashem gave us the Torah. Hashem asked us if we wanted the Torah. What do we say, Abraham? We wanted the Torah.
I want Torah now.
Amen. We said to Hashem, we will do before we understand. Right? Now, I said we'll do, and only then we'll try to understand. No logic. Okay. So, in a similar way, we have judges and we have policemen. Judges are about understanding, and policemen are about action. So, what comes first? It would seem the first thing is action comes first. Humility, bittul, abnegation for Hashem, putting your mind on the side. But if you think about it, Naftali, it's true what you're saying. You see the devotion to people in their phrase to Hashem, we will do before we understand. We see in that phrase absolute devotion to Hashem. However, we see something else there too. If the purpose of our humility or our devotion to Hashem was in order for us to fulfill the Torah, then and we should follow it and beyond logic. Okay. Hold on a second. Let me say it this way. Once we're doing the Torah already, once we're already fulfilling the Torah, there's no need for us to understand it anymore. In Nasiv and Nishma, we will do before we understand. So one thing that we see in this statement is that logic isn't everything. Okay? But is logic something? The fact that after we said we will do, we then continue and then we said we'll understand, that's still important. You think if we're doing already, who cares if we understand it? But Hashem wanted us to say the second phrase too. Why? Why is the second phrase important? If the whole purpose is that we should fulfill the Torah, so once we're doing. What's the point of the second phrase? We'll understand. The point of the second phrase is it highlights the love of Hashem to the Jew. Hashem doesn't just want the Jew to do the laws in an empty way, in a robotic way. It's just external. It doesn't touch who he is, and doesn't touch his heart, doesn't touch his mind, doesn't touch his persona. Hashem wants the whole person to be engaged and connected to him. And therefore, Hashem wanted us to say, after we will do, Hashem said, I want you to say something else. I want you to still understand. Once you have the policeman, do you still need the judges? Once the policeman know the law, it seems the judges are irrelevant when the law is in place. But there's a unique thing of judges. They have a unique role with independent of the policeman. The judges, or the power of understanding the Torah, the mission of understanding the Torah is relevant to us, whether beyond our observance of Torah. It's not just about our observance. We said we're going to do it anyways. Well, yeah, that's taken care of. But Hashem says, I want you to do something more. I want you to understand the Torah. Why? But Hashem said, I want to live inside of you. I don't just want to live in your hands and feet. I want to live in your heart. I want to live in your mind. Hashem wants a home in the lowest realm. Where does he want a home? He wants a home inside us. So if we just said we will do, okay, so we'll do it. Hashem says, no, I want more than that. I want you to also to understand. I want to also become part of you. And why? Because Hashem says, marry yourself by the Jewish people are my child, and I love them because he loves us. Therefore, he wants to be engaged with us completely. That not just we should fulfill the Torah externally, but we should be completely engaged with Torah in our hearts and minds and everything. Or we should understand the Torah. Because Hashem wants ourselves, not just our bodies, not just our outside, not just superficially. Hashem wants a relationship with us completely. And therefore, when Hashem gave us the Torah, we said we will do, and we also understand. We need policemen, but we also need judges independently. We need to learn and understand the Torah because Hashem wants to be connected to us as we are. This is what the whole purpose of creation is. Hashem wants a home in the lowest realm. What kind of home does he want? Not just a home of where we're following the laws, but a home inside of us. And as Mashiach will come, it's not just that we're going to fulfill the laws of the Torah when Mashiach comes, but when Mashiach comes, we'll be elevated. We'll see the truth of Hashem in creation. We'll see the goodness of everything in creation. See the goodness that there is in ourselves. We'll have complete fulfillment. Mashiach will come of who we are and what we are. We'll feel good because Hashem will rest within us in a revealed way. That's the purpose of creation. And therefore, it's important not just to fulfill the laws, that's true, and we will do before we understand, yes, but after we will do, we have to also understand. Hashem wants not just to